Hey everyone. Hi, it's Rachel. Happy Tuesday? Yes, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday night. I am super excited to be here with you tonight for another client spotlight. I'm spotlighting the amazing Christinna. So Christinna and I have been working together for a bit now, and she has been inside the Live Your Dharma program. And she's pretty badass, I have to say. Christinna and I actually planned to do this at 7, but we've just been chatting for the last hour because that's kind of what happens anyways. So Christinna is an Instagram coach. And if you're like, that exists? Yes, that exists. Especially if you are out there and you are a new entrepreneur getting started. There are things, Christinna would be better to talk about this with, but there are things you can do that will definitely help your Instagram get more reach and all the Instagram things. I actually have had the pleasure and what would be the word, Christinna?
I don't know.
The opportunity.
Actually,
my brain is dead at this hour. The opportunity to actually be also a client of Christinna. She has helped me a little bit with my Instagram, and I have to say her business audit is incredible. She's so thorough. And actually I've had 2 opportunities to actually be kind of like a client with Christinna, because I've also had Christinna as a guest in my group, leading a masterclass, helping my people so they could start to integrate some of her tactics and tools to for their businesses. So anyways, I just wanted to do a quick shout out to Christinna. I know this is, it's me shining the spotlight on Christinna because she is really, really an incredible example of what's possible when you are committed. We were just talking about like our why and really the mission underneath it, but when you really have a strong one, and what it means to really be resourceful, and what it means to really show up. If you want to learn more about that, there is a podcast episode with Christinna and I, so you should go check out The Wellness Boss. But tonight, I wanted to talk a little bit with Christinna about some of the shifts and changes that she's actually experienced in the program, because they're pretty fucking incredible. Sorry if there's any children watching right now. Anyone that knows me probably knows
there's going to be some F-bombs.
Right, there's going to be an F-bomb. Someone the other day was like, "You curse a lot." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." I'm like, that's kind of offensive. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not your person then. Bye-bye."
Right.
I'm like, we don't need to do anymore. We don't need to talk anymore. We're just going to be real here. But yeah, anyways. So Christinna, first off, tell them where you are in the world, and then tell them a little bit, like, give them a better idea of what an Instagram coach does than I just did. And then tell them, I'll give you 3 things. If you don't remember, that's okay. I'll remind you. That's fine. 1, where you are. 2, what as an Instagram coach, like kind of like a little bit quick, like what you do with them. And then 3, what would you say, where were you at when we started? Yeah, we'll start there.
Okay. So I am in Fort Collins, Colorado. It is cold right now, a little bit. Oh, it's sunny again. So the weather goes up and down, but it is colder today. And an Instagram coach, well, for me anyway, I teach the basics. So I teach you, where are your stories? Like all the way down to what should you put in your bio? Where do you find your insights? What is it? What are insights, right? So there's some terminology that you need to be familiar with. And then all the way through to, how do you find your reels? How do you make a reel? All the way to what should you be posting for content for your specific business? So in my coaching program, we go all the way down to what kind of content you should be posting, and then also kind of like a posting strategy that will work for you specifically so that you're not getting overwhelmed with the platform. So I'm really big on being able to leverage and use Instagram as a marketing tool, but also not letting it absorb your whole lifestyle, not letting it be something that takes over and that you're only focusing on this social media when you should be working with your clients and in your business. So there's a way to set it up. Not necessarily set it and leave it, but set it up and be able to manage it without, being so uncomfortable with dealing with it, right? So there's lots of tricks that you can learn doing that. So that's what I teach. But I I have a 90-minute intensive, which, you know, you can pick a feature, or I can show you from the very beginning how to set up Instagram from your bio to, you know, what link you should be putting in there. Or if you just need help with reels and you want to know how to use a reel, that is something that I would be able to coach you on.
So good. And one thing before you go into Christinna, where you were at when we first started, one thing that I don't know if Christine, she didn't just mention, but I want people to hear this. But like, if you're like one of those people who's like, you can't figure out why you're not getting on it or any platform, well, you're listening, maybe you're scrolling, but you're not actually being active. Christinna is so good also at helping you pinpoint like the mindset behind what's holding you back, because I know that's pretty common. I mean, I see coaches all the time.
Yeah, exactly. What is it that is causing you to, kind of have this FOMO, and you're scrolling on Instagram and you're wanting to be like all these other businesses, but you haven't put the work into dealing with your own. Sometimes it's not that you don't have the tools or that you don't know how. Sometimes it's simply you just have a block and you're not sure, you know, your clarity, you're not sure why you're on there, you're not sure who you need to be talking to, that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely do some mindset work in there as well. And speaking of mindset work, I think one of the important thing is to remember is coaches have coaches. And so mindset work was something that I wanted to work on for my business over the last couple of years, actually, to up my game in my business. And so when I joined the coaching with Rachel, it was to be able to not only be better for my clients, but be in a better headspace and energy for myself. I had gone through many different life traumas kind of all at once. And so my business was suffering because of that. The business I had before coaching, which was social media management, and it was draining completely. So I knew I had to really dive in and find a way to re-energize, reconnect, really, really bring in some powerful, positive thinking into my life. And so when I started with Rachel, I was very insecure about who I was, what I was capable of, where my business was going. I was just kind of living in this space of like that broken, scared inner child was just like screaming, right? And I was just living in this desperate scarcity kind of mindset. I mean, actually, reality, that's kind of what was going on around me, but it was keeping me from looking past it and being able to say, I want this on the other end of this. And being able to say, I want to continue forward. I was stuck in this rut of emotional trauma, right? Yeah. So we were talking about, for the hour we were supposed to be on live, we were talking about how all of the mindset work and the coaching and the mantras and the morning work and the different tools that Rachel teaches in her program have really been bringing forward not just my confidence, but like the belief in myself. Because I feel like confidence is one thing, but like believing in yourself in all the areas, like the different areas, it is really important to bring all that together. And I feel like it's finally showing at the top of who I am, like you are capable of doing all this. Like you have the tools, you are believing. Yeah, could you turn that off for me? You have the tools, you can do this. And I'm just really starting to actually believe the things that I've been learning, I guess, for a year and a half at least. I can't remember when I first started coaching with you, but I bet it's been that long.
It hasn't been that long.
No?
I've
just known you that.
Yeah, I think it's been about probably almost a year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, But there has been a shift more recently where things just kind of pulled together, where the work is paying off. And sometimes it's noticeable to other people first, but I think I finally noticed, and I finally was able to say, and that helps you when you can say, like, this is working for me, then I feel like you're able to keep the habits going that you're trying to create.
Yes.
Right?
So true.
So, that consistency you want on your Instagram, that consistency you want in your business, that those habits of, maybe you want to be a morning person. I don't know why you would, but what if you did? Not me. You could do it now if you wanted to, because you have that secure belief that why not? I can really do this. It's actually going to be able to be possible if I feel like it.
Yeah. I think you just summed that up really pretty cool. Like, it's like, Christina and I are actually in a networking group together. That's actually how we originally met. And this morning I was showing, I wish I had it on. I don't have it right now to show.
I love that pie chart.
The belief-o-meter that I created. It's like Christina started probably in the imposter doubtful phase. Mm-hmm. And then she's now, I would say, like, I had confident then certainty. And I think like like what Christina was saying is like, it's almost more than confidence. Like you build your confidence, but then after confidence, there's actually more levels. And it's like, It's like that certainty in yourself, and your certainty in your offer, your certainty that people want it. And it's like, it's hard to almost put in words, but it is that level that I see. And I think you're starting to finally see what really allows us to step into truly what's possible.
Right. Yeah. It's beyond kind of like, oh, I know I can do it, to I can do it plus more. And there's no underlying kind of doubts or things eating at you, or, that clarity. So I feel like we hear these terms all the time, but until you can kind of experience like what confidence feels like or what clarity looks like. And I've had it in other areas of my life. So that's one thing we talked about was I can have clarity and confidence over here, but then in this area of my life actually feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And how do you bring this confidence and clarity over to this other part and really make sure everything it's a whole, right? Like a very meshes together, and that you can do it in both ways, in both areas. And so, but until you kind of experience or feel it, the words are kind of hollow.
So true.
They're so hollow. You're like, clarity, yay. Like,
they feel very fluffy until you're actually in it. And then it's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. And then you can really get it. But you have to have that belief of clarity or that belief of confidence before you can actually experience it.
Yes. 100%.
I feel like, yeah.
I love that. And tell them a little bit, like, so what would you say, like, if you had to narrow it down to like 2 or 3 things, and you had to like narrow it into like, if we called it a shift, like what would you say the 2 biggest shifts that you experienced?
See, the biggest ones. I would say the first big shift I experienced was being able to keep habits. And I had been working on that, not just with you, but with Sarah and like, different coaches. But I feel like the mindset pieces that I was getting from each place, and then finding the system or the way that it works for me, instead of feeling like I had to do it a specific coach's way.
Yes.
That really helped when I finally kind of gave in to that. So part of what I was doing before was feeling like, well, it's not right if I don't do it the way that they're suggesting. I knew it was a suggestion, but at the same time, there was something about it that I was like, no, I got it. If I don't do it that way, like, so I wasn't trusting myself that I knew the best way for me. So once I started really trusting that I knew the best way for me, and I started actually doing it that way, then I started seeing like I was able to keep the habits. I was able to keep a meditation habit. I was able to keep, right? And be able to keep like journaling or
And
whatever it was.
it's so important. And this is something that you're not the only one. Like a lot of people will be like, well, so-and-so, I should do it this way. And that's why I'm such a, and Christina's heard this a million times, but that's why I'm such a big believer. And I think Amanda said this on the last client spotlight I did, is that I am a really big proponent of helping my clients find their way. I don't believe I have the right way. I have my way that I like to do it, but my way may not be their right way. Just like, for example, like, I don't know why my brain just went here, but like certain people find certain shoes really comfortable. But just because I find, let's say, Birkenstocks really comfortable, you might hate the way they feel, right? And it's like when the shoe fits, that's when we stay with it. And I really love that. I love that you were able to take the tools and create your own signature system, because that's the only way it's sustainable.
Exactly. And that's what was holding me back in my business. That's what was holding me back in personal beliefs and things like that, was that having that idea that it needed to be a certain way. Right. And that's ingrained in us for society and everything else. But well, it has to be like this. Like, this is the rule. These are the rules, kind of like this is how it's supposed to be. And when I started kind of letting go of that and being able to say, you know what, there are no rules. And it's not that I hadn't heard this before, but just like with everything else, it's fluff until you can really put it into practice or see that it actually is something that works for you. But it took time to really find what worked for me. And I think that was the other big shift too, was being able to allow myself to heal, to feel the things I needed to feel. So when I would come into poor Rachel's coaching groups and just be, I don't want to be here, and just be awful, but she allowed space for me to be in the moment that I was, and was able to actually help me figure out why I was feeling that way, or why I was in that space, and how, not necessarily how to come out of it, but how to sit with it, how to be able to accept it. Like, you're feeling like that, so like, it's okay. Like, so just to have a space where you could feel and be okay with what was going on around you, it helped me be able to, like, every day be able to have those emotions or moments where I didn't always feel perfect or happy, or, you know, whatever it was that I was supposed to be at that moment. Right. And I could allow myself to sit with it. And it helped me actually move past kind of more of like a grumpy or negative feeling to actually a little faster. To be
Isn't
able,
that amazing?
because you let it be.
Like, oh, I just pretend it's not there, and then it like gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, oh, if you just let
gets worse.
Yeah, it gets worse, right? Instead, if you just actually let yourself feel it, it will pass.
It passes. And I think you actually had told us something about how long you have an emotion for.
Yeah, it's 90
Wasn't it
seconds.
like 90 seconds? And I'm like, I can sit with this for a few minutes, you know, and like a few seconds, that's it. And I'm not saying that, you know, it would just disappear altogether and all of a sudden you're like this happy giant.
No.
But I was able to continue. So anybody who's experienced depression or anxiety feelings or anything like that, you know that sometimes once you get down, like, you're down. And I think a lot of the work that I've been doing has allowed me to sit, recognize, be aware, take out the tools that I need to take care of myself, and then move past or forward, either with the anxiety and depression, because it's not like it goes away, we know this, but to be able to ebb and flow with it and move with it and be able to work with it. I feel like it's not that it, right? Like, it doesn't really go away, but it's
so good. And it's so
you're
true,
working
right,
with
Christinna? I say it all the time. That's why I say it's like friending your anxiety, because it's not like, sometimes your friend, you love your friends, and sometimes you want them to go fuck off, right? Like, I mean, let's be real, right? So it's like, you can have it and still do stuff. Like, I think so many people are waiting for all that fear, nervousness, anxiety, whatever the emotion is, to go away. And it's, you can have it and still do stuff.
Right. And especially with the anxiety, being able to work through it and sometimes even work past it. I have been able to work past it. And it really has been like pivotal, I think, in also realizing that I'm enough and I'm good enough because I can take care of myself. Like, I'm not waiting for someone to help me or rescue me in those moments of discomfort or pain, right? Which some people, I think, we don't realize we're doing that.
Yeah.
We're like, who's going to come help me
Right.
and rescue
I
me?
think
Because
we've kind of been taught that, though, that we're
Yeah.
supposed to have someone come rescue us.
Right. You know, either your mom will come help you, or, you know, as a kid, you know, there's always someone there to help you sometimes. And some people never had anyone to help them and only had to care of themselves. And I think you also have to let go of that as well.
Sure.
But knowing that even if you sit with those emotions or you have that pain, like I would have physical pain in my chest, that it was not the end of the world. Like, there was so much embarrassment around why you would have an anxiety moment where everybody else could do this normally but you. So there's like layers and layers and layers of things, of reasons why you couldn't sit in the moment and you couldn't get past that moment and continue to do things. So the faster I would get past these moments of anxiety or depression or whatever they were, or are sometimes, you know, but it increases your confidence too when you start to get past it. And you, so I always like to say, you know, try to grab onto the feeling of what it feels like once you've gone over the mountain, once you've reached the top. What does that feel like? Because yeah, you have to do the work to get there, but you need to hold on to that feeling of what it feels like when you're done, because you know what that feels like. You've done things in your life. Everybody's done hard things and actually lived through it and come out the other side. So if you can hold on and figure out what that feels like for you, then you're able to do anything and really move past any obstacle.
Yeah. And it's almost like you get to like invite that sensation in whenever you want.
Right.
But I think, unfortunately, so many people spend so much time in the emotions and the feelings of what they don't want. And so they've memorized that feeling. So then they forget what it feels like when they're in that place of success.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've had to, you know, and I think the programs have really helped me to remember that I have success stories in my memory bank. I have things that, you know, this resiliency and this, what do we call it? Resourcefulness and things like that already in my toolbox. I've already done things. And why am I discounting those things? Right? Why am I letting my brain tell me, you know, that the opposite, all the lies, this is the opposite is true, right? When I know otherwise, right? And so just to be able to be reminded with the, you know, the work that you do, that this is something, like, look at all your achievements, like, look at what you've lived through, look what you've done on your own, you know, and you really have to remind yourself of those things, sometimes daily, sometimes in the moment, sometimes, you know. And I think practicing switching that, when I have a negative thought, switching the negative thought or saying right after a negative thought, because they'll still come at you.
Yeah.
But if you're saying right after that negative thought something that you know is truer, you know, your brain's over here lying to you and you think it's true. That's why I say truer, because it's true for you in your head.
In the moment.
In the moment. So, but you've got to say something truer than that, that you know has already been achieved, right?
Yes. Because it's what you just decide to focus on.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, Christinna. So if someone's watching right now, right, tell them a little bit, tell them, like, what would you say, like, the style of coaching is inside the program?
Let's see if we can put it into words, because I feel like the style. Well, I always feel like when I come to coaching that I'm going to be heard. I'm going to be mainly heard. I mean, I feel like even if I'm in a space, so intuitive, I think is another good word, because even if I am in a space where I don't want to be in the moment or don't feel like talking a whole lot, I feel like you can register that enough to be like, I hear you. I'm not going to bother you a whole lot on this call. Like, I have actually felt like that was a thing. And to me, that's being heard, not being forced to participate. To me, is being heard as an introvert, especially. Like when I'm just going to be here to listen. I'm going to absorb. I'm still present and I'm absorbing, but I don't need the push right now. And I feel like you're very intuitive when it comes to not only putting the group together so that people are, what's the word? Kind of matched up.
Yeah.
Like we all vibe
together. Yeah.
Yeah. We all kind of mesh or vibe. And then there's also sometimes challenges in there for us with individuals,
of course,
which I find very refreshing. Because I have moments that allow me, I have moments where I got to check myself because I'm like, but it's all a growth and a learning experience. It's not negative at all. It's not like that, but it's like, I understand that those people are there to challenge you, to help you, but also to uplift you. Like those are the kind of moments that I have in the groups. So the style to me is just very in the flow. So it's organized, like you have things that you want to talk to us about and things, but if a conversation kind of leads into what everyone needs coaching on, you're very intuitive to let that roll.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? Like I feel like that's what's happened with us in our groups, because you're never going to not be coached. So even if it's not what Rachel planned on talking about today, somebody over here needed help in this area, and it's a great lesson for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. It's so interesting. I love hearing like everyone's different like opinions, or what not their opinions, but like what, like the energy they pick up. Yeah. Amanda was very much like, yeah, it's kind of like tough love, so it's like, I think it's
interesting.
Sometimes, some of it, but it is, I think it's so interesting how you can put a group of people together and everybody can get what they need and experience it in the way they need to experience it, which I love. Absolutely love. So just one more question, Christinna. So if someone right now was on the fence and they're thinking about, joining the next group, what would be your suggestion to them?
I would say, take a look at the different testimonials and client, what are we calling these? Client interviews type things, spotlights, and really kind of get a feel and a listen for people's different experiences, because I think that's important. But also, when investing in your business and investing in yourself is never a waste of time or money, especially when something vibes right with you and you can feel yourself pulling towards it and you really want it, but then you start thinking about all the things that might be stopping you, right? Instead of thinking about the reasons why you can't do the program, or you can't invest in yourself at this time, or you can't elevate your business at this time, think about all the reasons why you want to do the elevation, the reasons why you need to be able to have an energy or mindset that propels you forward, not even just in your personal life, because you cannot help other people if you are not overflowing yourself. If you cannot help other people if you're stuck too. No. Right? So, for me, the investments have never been either you be wise, of course, you know, make sure that you're vibing the coaches that you choose,
Of course.
but also like, don't let the negative or the doubtful kind of self-talk prevent you from creating something even more powerful in your business, in your personal life. Because this has not just been about my business. I actually originally signed up for mindset coaching because I knew that I was going to drown in anything that I was going to do if I didn't get my head right.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if it was business, raising my kids, I had to get my head right. And it just led to more amazing things, more ways of growing a business, growing as a person, being able to feel like I do connect with people, maybe be able to feel like I am enough, be able to grow and be able to grow my business so that I can further invest, right? Like, I feel like the investment has, the financial side of it has definitely not been an issue because of the value that I've received.
I'm gonna cry. I love that. It's so good, Christinna. And what you just said is like, I said this about a container I'm in, and you know this, Christinna, like I'm like such a believer in whatever you do, always be investing in your craft, right? Like in what you do. Like, I just can't ever imagine not doing that. I did it as a yoga teacher. I mean, I've done it my entire life, just kind of who I am. But it is almost like I like to think of almost as like the side effects, right? Like, I invested in a coach I'm with for my business, but the side effects I've gotten for my personal life, I can't even put a dollar amount on it. Like, and I honestly had no idea. And I think that's kind of, I don't think it's that uncommon, right? But it's like, when you do the work, for whatever reason you go into it, I don't know. Just the way you just said that was so beautiful. It's like, it just changes. So it's like, I always say, like, when we change one area, like it all, it's impossible not to change like your business and also change. Like, it's just
change who you are.
Yeah. They all change.
And if you're already thinking about joining the program, it's because they've already seen something they like about you and something is pulling them in this direction anyway. And I feel like the next step is literally to look at, why are you telling yourself that you can't do it? Because it's not that you don't want to or that you think it's a bad idea. It's more so like, oh, you know, you're self-sabotaging in some way. And you really need to look at the extended value, like you said, like, what are the side effects of this? And the side effects are literally, like I said, I've been able to keep habits, my self-confidence, belief, like attracting money to me. We talked about, you know, this week being huge with attracting clients and money. And then also being able to show my kids a lot of the things I've been learning to help with self-confidence. I have teenagers, self-confidence and belief, and even meditation for sleep and better. So it just overflows into other areas of your life, the lessons that you learn. I mean, how can you put a value, like a dollar amount on that? And then also the friendships and the partnerships, the other business people that you are connected with. So that networking and connection also comes into play. So when you get one person, you get one coach, especially in the coaching, you're getting
actually all the coaches.
You get all the coaches. So, and I have a coaching session, hopefully, if my schedule pans out right, with another coach in the group. And so being able to practice the coaching, so many things have happened, even just not even knowing I needed to heal from something, and just by hearing what somebody else says or what they're going through, and it triggering something in me for me to be like, oh, that hit home in a weird way. I need to work on that. So the growth is just insane. And that's why I've stayed with the program. So I started in what? Mindset.
Oh no, we started before that because
We started before that.
Yeah, we started 3 months before whatever that was. So July maybe.
Maybe in the summer.
Yeah, July, August, September. Yeah, somewhere around then. Yeah.
And then continued in.
Yeah.
And I don't care what kind of coach you are. So like I'm an Instagram coach. I don't coach people on mindset, but necessarily.
Yeah,
but every time I went
but everyone has a
build
mind.
course, everybody has a mind, exactly. And every business owner and entrepreneur has a mindset block. So
might not be the main thing Christinna does,
but every time I went to go build a course, the first section of the course was mindset.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Always.
So it's obviously very important to know
obviously
how to communicate something. You have to be able to help people through that.
Yeah.
And so to join a coaching group where people are learning how to actually be a coach, not just teaching people stuff, because you could,
it's a difference.
It's a little different, but to actually be a coach and be able to really help people take the action steps, get them past not wanting to take action. I feel like that's like the biggest.
I agree. The biggest hurdle, right?
The biggest hurdle in any coaching situation, in any coach, any type of coach you are. How do you get the people that you're teaching or coaching to actually do what you tell them to do? Right? Or at least have them believe that they know how to do what you're telling them to do.
To believe in themselves.
Yeah.
To do
believe in yourself. It's so true. That's so true.
Oh, okay. So good. So thank you so much, Christinna. So many nuggets there, so much wisdom. Oh my God, so much goodness. So if you're listening right now and you're thinking of joining, I'll drop the link. It's, in my opinion, a no-brainer, but of course I think that I created it. But take Christinna's word if you don't take mine. But if you're out there and you're a new business owner and really right now you want to dive into the Instagram platform, in all seriousness, you really, really should at least take up Christinna. She's got like a free 5-minute like Instagram audit. In like 5 minutes, she'll tell you like a couple hacks. And then she has a 90-minute intensive, which I did with her, but she's got a lot of really amazing options. She honestly, you should just even follow her on Instagram because she gives away like a ridiculous amount of value. Like just watch her. And it's just, I just love you. Thank you.
I love you too. You're amazing.
All right, guys. Well, I've been on Facebook like a lot today, so I guess it's time to go. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a wonderful night. And if you want to reach out to Christinna, I will drop her information in the comments. Of course, you can always message me and I will hook you up with her. And yeah, have a fun night, everyone. Or
night, everybody.
Or whatever hour it is.
I know. Whatever part of the world.